Hello. In part 1 of weight loss, I discussed the relationship between excessive amounts of carbohydrate and the hormone insulin and how insulin increases fat storage. In weight loss part 2, I talked about how we've been recommended to replace natural fats with what they call vegetable oils, which are really seed oils, and how that has caused a huge imbalance between the omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. Both of these things, high carbohydrate intake and the replacement of natural fats with vegetable oils, are recommended in the dietary guidelines. Today I want to go into a little bit more detail about these things, but I want to start by asking you a question. Do you pay much attention to garden birds? You don't have to be an ardent twitcher to notice garden birds, robins, sparrows, blackbirds, blue tits. Have you ever seen a garden bird that was obese? It was too fat to fly, had to walk everywhere? No, neither have I. Do you know why you never see an obese garden bird? It's because birds don't have official dietary guidelines. Now I know I'm being a little bit flippant, but I'm actually trying to make a very serious point here. Have you ever seen any wild animals that are obese? You never do. The only animals we ever see that are obese are the ones humans keep as pets. Wild animals stay the right size because they eat what they know they should eat. How do they know what to eat? Well, they have something researchers call nutritional wisdom. This has been studied by Dr. Fred Provenza of Utah State University. He specializes in animal behavior. In one of his many studies, he made sheep deficient in phosphorus, which is an essential nutrient, and then created a maple-flavoured feed with phosphorus in it. And every time the sheep ate the maple-flavoured feed, there would be an infusion of phosphorus into their bodies. But the internal systems recognise they have the mineral they need, and the sheep learn to associate the flavour of maple to the needed nutrient. Later in the experiment and the study, when they started to run low again on phosphorus, these sheep would seek the flavour of maple. They'd go looking for anything that tasted of maple. And he's shown that livestock animals, when given the opportunity, will search for and find the nutrients they need, and they often associate the nutrient they seek with the flavour of the food that provides it. There is no reason to assume humans are any different, and it's logical to assume this same nutritional wisdom helped us to survive and flourish during our evolution. The problem we now have is a big one. Because of intensive agriculture, real nutritious food is becoming slightly more bland, and at the same time, highly processed, nutrient-deficient food is becoming more strongly flavoured. The global corporations behind processed food are more interested in their profit than our nutrition. They deliberately make their products moreish or even addictive. They want you to have one and then be unable to stop yourself eating the whole packet, because that's good for business. It appears likely that the strong flavours in processed food are now hijacking our innate nutritional wisdom, and we struggle to identify the more subtle flavours of food containing the nutrients we need. So when overweight and obese people seem to be always eating, it's because they are hungry. They are overfed but undernourished. The reasons are: 1, the insulin sugar roller coaster creates hunger; 2, seed oils disrupt metabolism; and 3, hunger signals coming from the need to consume essential minerals and vitamins. So when people are regularly eating too much highly processed food, they turn to these strong flavours and fail to find the nutrients they need. So the hunger signals keep coming, and they keep eating. Processed food is making humans fat and corporations rich. We need to dump the processed food and eat real home-cooked food, which comes from a farmer or a fisherman and not from a factory. There is an acronym to help you remember what not to eat. We need to stop consuming carbonated drinks. We need to stop consuming refined sugars. We need to stop eating artificial foods, and we need to stop eating processed foods. There, I hope that helps you to remember what not to eat. Of course, there is individual variability in everything. We have different genetics and we have different influences because of our lifestyles, and these do make a difference to how our metabolism works, and it's important for me to mention them. Too much carbohydrate in the diet increases blood sugar levels, which then increases insulin levels, and insulin promotes fat storage and prevents the use of fat stores for energy. Now, how much of a problem this is for individuals depends upon how insulin sensitive they are. In other words, how well their cells respond to the actions of insulin. If insulin can easily transport blood sugar into cells for energy production, there is less sugar in the blood to be turned into fat and less need for insulin production. When people become insulin resistant, the cells are less receptive to insulin's actions, which leads to more blood sugar, more fat storage, and more insulin production. What makes people insulin resistant? Too much insulin does. So if you can eat carbohydrates without gaining weight, you are probably insulin sensitive. But if you easily pile weight on and struggle to lose it, you're likely to be insulin resistant. People who are insulin resistant, it's much more important for them to cut back on carbohydrates, whereas someone who's insulin sensitive can eat more of them because basically they can get away with it. When people want to lose weight, they are frequently told they need to eat less and move more. Lots of people believe that they can shed those excess pounds by burning the calories through more exercise or like going for a run. I'm going to show you why this isn't true unless you change your diet. There are two energy stores in our bodies. There is a glycogen store which exists in the liver and also in the muscles, and it's where excess glucose is stored ready for use as glucose in the bloodstream. But it is very limited, a maximum of about 2,500 calories. Then there is also the fat store, all the fat cells we have around our organs and under our skin. And someone who is overweight really needs to lose some weight could easily have 100,000 calories in that fat store, and they have to burn those calories to lose weight. As we've said, when we have excess sugar in the blood, insulin moves it to the glycogen store. When that is full, insulin turns the rest of the sugar into fat and stores it in the fat cells. So we want to lose weight and we go for a run. After running for about 20 minutes, a typical person uses about 300 calories. But if you have insulin in your bloodstream, you can't access the fat store, and all of those calories are taken from the glycogen store. So the glycogen store goes down to about 2,200 calories. Then when you finished your run, you have your next meal, which contains carbohydrates, and you fill up the glycogen store again, and you're back to where you started. And with insulin present, you haven't touched the fat store, all those calories that you need to shift if you're going to lose weight. Going for a run has plenty of benefits, but losing your excess weight isn't one of them unless you have very low insulin levels, and you do that by cutting right back on carbohydrate intake. I still have more to say about weight loss, and I will be producing at least another video on this subject. If you find any of my videos useful or interesting, please subscribe to the channel. And if you know anyone who's really struggling with their weight, please share these videos with them. I hope to speak to you again soon, and in the meantime, I wish you good health.